To several other benefits.
But for some kids, the pressure of competing can be too much, and that can have a negative effect on their athletic experience or impact other aspects of their life. Joining us now to talk about this is licensed clinical social worker Kelly Kitley. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for covering this.
So first off, how can a parent even tell or discern if their kid should be in a competitive sport?
So I really like to have the child lead, find out what they're interested in, give them a range of opportunities and options. They don't have to be good at all of them. They don't even have to be good, but being able to expose them and really have fun is what's first and foremost.
When my kids were little, they tried everything. I mean,
Yeah.
I think, we did everything from baseball to soccer to swimming to
Right.
all sports. Is that a good plan? And what is it about doing competitive sports that can be beneficial for a kid?
I think it's great when they're younger because it really does give them an opportunity to explore and to build different skills. But I'm seeing this in my practice where some of these high school kids are so overscheduled and playing 3, 4 sports at the same time, some of them in the same season. And they can't keep their head above water and they're feeling so anxious. And it's also bleeding over into feeling very perfectionistic and overcritical.
So if a parent senses, hey, my kid may be feeling this stress, or perhaps the parent is putting the stress on them, what can they do?
Absolutely. So we really need to check ourselves first and make sure we're not projecting our own feelings onto our kids. And then also really try to encourage them by using positive feedback and also asking them what they learned from something that maybe they made a mistake in so that they can enhance that and learn from the experience. I see oftentimes parents want to talk to their kids about, well, why did you make that decision? Or that was a horrible shot. What could you do next time? And then these kids are feeling low self-esteem and low confidence, and then it just is a precipitating problem.
I hate to say it, but I've heard parents yell things like that from sidelines,
Yes.
Back up, what are you doing? Very critical. And I'm sure parents we all mean well, right? So how do we flip that? How do we support the kids that are playing competitive sports?
Sure. So when we are on the sidelines, our kids are watching us. And what we need to do is model positive behavior. And so don't talk negatively about another player to your own son or daughter, because that is just modeling negativity. So really talk about what the team did well, where they can grow as a team. I really encourage my kids to cheer the other kids on who may be feeling like they're not very good players or they're down on themselves. It's really a collective team effort.
Lessons in sportsmanship, which everyone can use, especially parents sometimes, I think. I wonder, are there any drawbacks to competitive sports? I know I was a competitive cheerleader my sophomore year of high school. I was. Did some flips, I lifted people, but I'm still dealing with an injury from that today. So any drawbacks?
Sure. So overuse of body parts, I think it's really important because it is a whole health perspective, right? It's team building, it's moving your body, it's focusing on sleep and nutrition, all things that are really important. But we can have a tendency to push our kids too hard, which result in injury, or as well as just feeling like they don't have enough time for anything.
That's the thing that's sticking with me is what you said a few minutes ago about the packed schedule. Because I have a high schooler now. I had a high schooler who was in college. It's a lot. Like in some school districts, in New York in particular, people pack in tons, and they feel like even just being on a varsity team takes up tons of time. But you also have to take AP courses and all this. How do parents help us? Like, how do we dial that back?
Yeah, we really need to pump the brakes. And I think if we have realistic conversations with our kids, I have a rising senior, and firstborn child is like the AP classes, all of it, and it's just so stress-inducing. And so if we can really help our kids to find 2 or 3 things that they feel like they can excel in and really flourish, I think that's most important, rather than get involved in everything, fill your schedule. Downtime is what really helps us flourish too. So when we unplug, we can then rejoin the activity much more refreshed.
So good. And briefly, if you have a child who maybe doesn't seem as athletically inclined, but maybe you're worried that they're not getting the exercise they need, what do you recommend?
Great question. So I think there are a lot of kids that aren't athletically motivated, and so
hand-eye coordination.
Dancing. I think dancing is a great way to move your body and really do it with your kids. Get out there and walk, or turn the music on in the house, or just do jumping jacks.
Yeah.
Make it fun.
Because it all has an impact on your mental health, right? I mean,
Thank you. It's all
so
brain
tied.
chemistry, absolutely. And it really helps enhance mood when we move our body. Our minds and our body are so closely connected.
You have to move, but you don't have to be a varsity athlete
Right,
to do it.
there it is, there it is. Kelly, I so appreciate this. You said when you sat down, I'm going to tell the
Yeah,
viewers,
of
when you
course.
sat down, you said this was motivated. This whole segment was motivated by something that went on at one of your kids' games.
Yes, a parent got thrown out on the other team, and that child was so embarrassed,
Yeah.
and then it just was an uproar and created a lot of chaos.
You got to lead by example.
There we go. Kelly
Please.
Kitley, thank you.
Thank
There's
you.
more news ahead. You're watching NBC.